You're listening to Baby Boomer's Guide to Life in the 21st Century with me, Big Lex, and you.
Hi, I'm Patricia Amphlett. You can call me Little Patty. I don't mind.
Little Patty and Big Lex. What a combination. And today we're hoping to get a bit of better insight into home care and how it works. And we're talking to Craig Gear from the Older Persons Advocacy Network. Craig has been CEO of the Older Persons Advocacy Network since 2018. Prior to that, he served as the organisation's chairperson. Craig has a great deal of experience in health service management and consulting. He has served as board chair of the Seniors' Rights Service and worked in healthcare advisory at PricewaterhouseCoopers. Craig began his career in nursing and is passionate about connecting and improving our health system. Craig, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Lex. Good to be here.
Now, how did you get in this area? Craig, you seem to have both a background in accountancy, in crunching the numbers, but also in aged care. Is that the combination you work for?
PwC is known for its accounting firm. It also does sort of a whole lot of consulting advisory work. So I worked there when PwC was involved with a whole lot of aged care and health reform. And one of the passions that I had is about trying to fix the health system and the aged care system. And so I'd actually come from the prison system, which really scared, a lot of the partners there when I'd say that, where were you before? And I'd say I was in prison. And so that used to freak them out a little bit. But it was kind of where my passions come from, is working with marginalised groups or groups that sort of don't get the best out of the system, and to see, can we actually build a better system for all Australians? And so that's kind of how I got this circuitous route into working with Seniors' Rights Service and consulting for not-for-profits, and then really into formation of the Older Persons Advocacy Network, who our members, the 9 members that form OPAN, have been delivering this individual support for older people for about 30 years, but they came together in 2017 to sort of work together to make sure there was a better health system and individual support for older people right across the country.
What exactly is home care? It sounds as though by its title it should be obvious, but how would you define home care?
Yeah, so when we speak to older people, they say to us, and this is one of the tenets within the Charter of Aged Care Rights, is everyone has the right to their independence. And older people say to us that's one of the most important things to them, is to maintain their independence. And so effectively what home care, or the Commonwealth Home Support Program, and the home care packages that are another part of the program at the moment, that's what they do, is to able to keep people in their homes longer, keep them independent and keep them connected with their community. And that's what people say, that's what they want.
When is a person eligible for home care, Craig?
So we've got a system where they put, I suppose, a limit. The age limit for most people is 65, and 65 and above. For some other groups, those who might age earlier might be at risk of homelessness, and also for our First Nations people, they can qualify for home care at 55. So it's also about what's your function like and what sort of supports you need to keep you living well, connected to community and living in your home.
So could you describe a handful of things that home care can provide for people?
So at the moment, we've got a sort of a 2-part system called the Commonwealth Home Support Program, and we've got home care packages. The Commonwealth Home Support Program does some really great stuff about the things around your house which you might struggle with if you're getting a bit frailer, the stairs are a bit hard, those sorts of things. So that'll be things like shopping, home maintenance, the garden, cleaning the house. And I know my mum, that's the thing she really values, is the cleaners coming in for her Commonwealth Home Support Program. As the cleaners come once a fortnight to help her out of those hard to reach places that you can't get to these days, as much as you want, and you want your home to be looking nice for when people come around. So that's what the Commonwealth Home Support Program does. The home care packages bring some of that clinical and additional support in, things like nursing care, someone checking with your medicines, someone coming to help you with your shower, those sorts of things. So it's more intensive support, and there's different levels, and I can step you through those levels and basically how you get an assessment for which type of home support is right for you.
And Craig, how is it? What's the funding model? Do I have to pay for it? Is it supported by the government? Is it privately funded? How does it work?
Yeah, so for most people, you'll pay some small amount. There are assessments that get done around your finances, not normally on your assets, but normally on sort of your cash supplies, I suppose. But for those who are on the pension, that'll be a small amount. For some retirees, then there's a proportionate amount that you contribute. And that gets assessed by what we usually term Centrelink Services Australia, and they'll do an assessment of those sorts of things. So it'll be a small contribution, but predominantly most of it gets paid by the government as a subsidy to the aged care provider. And that is a package of an amount, usually up to around about $55,000 per year, which then gets drawn down for the services you need. But what happens is a person comes in and does an assessment of you and then works with you to work out what you want, which is called consumer-directed care, to work out what's the packages of support that actually is going to keep you well and keep you supported in your home. So it's all about the older person and forming a plan around them about what they want that's going to keep them staying at home longer.
Do you personally feel quite rewarded by the good that you're doing or that your company is doing?
It does, but we often hear about all the bad issues. People come to us and say, and I'll give a plug for our national advocates, which is going to be about 200 across the country this year. And on 1-800-700-600, they are there to support and provide individual support, advice, information, and go into bat for people when they're not getting the best out of from their provider. If they've got issues, and we just say, look, speak up and let us help you get the best out of your package. Someone's saying to me yesterday, what would it need to do to get you to so you don't have a job anymore? And I would love that to be the case that I didn't need to do, because if we do our job well, people will be able to stand up and do this for themselves. We wouldn't be needed. But unfortunately, things go wrong sometimes, and that's why we're there to support people, to have their voice, to raise their voice, to say this is not good enough. I want this resolved, and how we're going to do this better so that I can get the support I need. That's what an advocate does, I suppose.
Yeah. And what's that number again? Say that number.
Yeah, it's really quite easy to remember. 1-800-700-600. So I go 876, 1-800-700-600.
Thanks, Craig.
Craig, is there a component of home care? Does that overlap with medical services? And if so, is there a discrepancy between what happens in metropolitan areas and what happens in regional areas? We know from recent reviews into aged care and medical and services and health services that the regions really struggle for accessibility for a lot of people. So what is the overlap between medical services and home care, and is there a discrepancy between metropolitan and regional?
Yeah, so the way you kind of access aged care services is through ringing what's called My Aged Care, and then getting an assessment set up, and the teams will come out and either speak to you on the phone or come out to your home. That doesn't take away from the really important work that your GP does, and that primary care work, and what often they do is a chronic disease plan or a health assessment, and then work out a plan of care. So that's that sort of primary care, important work around your health services. And then these aged care services come in to support that as well. So it sits a bit separately to that, but it's really important that those two systems work together, and that your GP knows that you've got the supports at home that are being provided to you through My Aged Care and the aged care system.
Mm-hmm. And metro and regional?
Sorry, in the regional stuff, yeah, look, it is sometimes a challenge. We're seeing some really innovative models where the community is getting together and building their own services, providing supports for people there. That's one thing we're championing, to make sure that no matter where you live in Australia, you've got access to these services. Sometimes there's a little bit less choice, but we're working on that as well to make sure that people have got choice and control wherever they are.
So if people, would love to contact you, they can Google myagedcare.gov.au, Or they can phone, see if I can remember, 1800 700 600.
That's it, Patty. Yeah, 1-800-700-600. There's lots of webinars and videos and stuff on our website, which is opan.org.au. The My Aged Care is who you ring if you're going, I think I need a little bit of support at home and this is going to keep me at home.
Yeah.
Go to the My Aged Care website or give them a call.
Yeah.
But if you need help with the services you're receiving at the moment, give us a call on 1-800-700-600.
Well, my husband and I are fortunate we've not needed any of that, and I was totally unaware of it anyway. So now you've enlightened me and many people. But quite recently, like last week, my husband was in hospital, and he's older than I am, and
doesn't look it.
No, I know he looks terrific, and it was a minor thing he went to hospital for. But however, a lovely, lovely person came and spoke about this My Aged Care, and we were so enlightened. We'd not heard about it, and we both thought how wonderful. Of course, how lucky we don't need it at the moment, but it was great to know that that is available. And I know I've spoken to a couple of older people than us who also didn't know about it, who really need that care, and already they're on their way to receiving it. So thanks.
Craig, thank you very much for talking to us, and let's hope that we can do you out of a job at some point.
Yeah.
that would be wonderful.
Many thanks, Craig. Lovely to meet you. Bye-bye.
Lovely speaking to you today. Thanks.
See ya.